A quilt pattern often becomes a classic because the design holds up to different colors, sizes, and fabrics.
Today's quilt shows just how adaptable the log cabin pattern can be.
Join us on this episode to learn how to manage loosely woven fabrics like flannel and homespuns,
How to accurately piece a log cabin block,
and how to cut side-setting triangles for a diagonally set quilt. Hello and welcome to the 3000 series of Love of Quilting. I'm Sarah Gallegos, and in this episode, Marianne Fonz is presenting a new twist on a classic block.
we have so much fun sewing together, don't we?
We really do.
It's great. Well, you know, I love making quilts as much now as I did when I was 25 years old when I started because, you know, every quilt is a challenge. It's kind of like a love affair, you know?
Absolutely.
I'm like a serial quilt love affair person. So the quilt today is really, I mean, it was kind of a epiphany for me because I've made lots of log cabins.
Yes.
But I saw an antique quilt that was these concentric squares, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a log cabin on point.
Neat.
And I'd never set log cabin on point, and you know, by using high contrast fabrics like this, it's so graphic. And I only wish I had had more of these particular fabrics so it was bigger.
So you could do another ring around.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's really neat, and I love that in this particular quilt, you're playing with some different types of fabrics as well.
Yes, it's sort of a genre of fabrics, and you know, some people store their fabrics by color, and I do, but I have genres. So I have my 1890s reproductions kind of organized by color, my Civil War ones, my flannel quilts, my French-looking flannel fabrics, my French-looking fabrics, my batiks, my solids.
That's a really fun way to organize the fabrics.
Yeah, like florals, and it's a style kind of thing. So these are homespun and flannel. We're doing kind of a vocabulary thing today, right?
Right, learning new terms, new fabric terms.
And understanding. So brushed homespuns are cotton fabrics that are flannelly, soft on one side.
Right.
Flannels are fuzzy both sides.
Both sides.
That's a technical term. Fuzzy.
Fuzzy.
Yeah, fuzzy. But within that, you can have flannels or that are printed,
right.
or plaids, we should say. Lots of flannels are plaids.
Plaids, and we've got a little cute little houndstooth in here
yes,
too.
And stripes and so forth. So your plaid can be woven, and we've got one here we're going to show that's woven. And what woven means, tell them what woven means.
So when it's woven, you have fibers of different colors woven together to create the print within the fabric. So on this particular piece, we've kind of pulled a couple of threads. Here we go.
So you can pull some
You
more.
can really see them against the green here. You have this darker colored thread and the lighter colored, and it's woven together to make that beautiful plaid.
And you may hear the term yarn dyed. This yarn, the yarn that is woven with is dyed first. And I think men's shirts are yarn dyed plaids and checks and so forth. So this is a flannel because it's fuzzy both sides.
Very soft.
And it is woven. But here is a houndstooth check. It could be woven, but this one is actually printed, and you can tell because it's not printed both sides.
Not printed on both sides. So you can flip it over, take a peek on the inside, and see if it's woven or printed.
So, so like a batik goes all the way through, and a woven plaid it's the same front and back, like a solid too.
It's a reversible fabric. Gotta love that.
Yeah. So I have, you know, pretty light lights and pretty dark darks, so you get that high contrast going. So I'm going to set these aside for now.
And you've got your one anchored fabric for the center.
Put them over here, or we could put them clear over here.
That works.
So we've laid out 3 blocks because it's really a scrappy quilt.
Yeah. So you've got several different of your darks and lots of your different lights, and then the same red center in all 3 of them.
Which is traditional for log cabin. It's like the idea is it's the hearth.
The hearth of the home.
Or if it's gold, it's the window, the lighted window of the log cabin. And so I'm sure a lot of you have made log cabin before, but if you haven't, it's really an interesting pattern because you start with the center and you start piecing. This is a clockwise direction. You can go counterclockwise. I don't think I've ever gone counterclockwise. Yeah. So once I find out what works for me,
sometimes I've gone counterclockwise on accident.
An accident, yeah. So I just, you know, as long as you keep, you know, you have 2 logs that are light, and then you have 2 logs that are dark, and then 2 logs that are light, 2 logs that are dark. I'm making sure I get out there light and dark. So, you know, you can keep going, you know, with the light and dark and keep adding.
As big as you want.
And because you have a light side and a dark side, that's how you get these settings like streak of lightning, barn raising, concentric squares.
Fun to play with log cabin blocks, but putting it on points is a really neat little twist for this block.